National Signing Day. National Signing. That is a huge, huge accomplishment, huge day when it comes to putting it all together. And this is what you're shooting for, right? You join the program. You've been playing since you're a young kid, and it's a big news. I mean, you see the hats with the football players and the basketball players. They're always changing those hats and all of that. It's less pomp and circumstance when it comes to baseball players most of the time, because most of the time the guys put it on Twitter ahead of time leading up to the National Signing Day. So everybody kind of knows where they're going already. So the suspense is not necessarily there. But I wanted to kind of just put this in a time frame so you have an understanding of when it is. Okay. So National Signing Day is usually November the 1st or second week in November of his senior year, and it lasts all the way till August of his senior year. Meaning they have like another national signing day in April, but you can sign anywhere in between that November date and again in August. Okay, so they have two, our national signing days. Early period is November. The other one is in April. Not a lot of times April is of your senior year, it's crunch time. You a little nervous, so you like to obviously you like to get it done earlier, but that doesn't mean if you don't get it done in November that you can't necessarily you know have your own ceremony and sign a national letter of intent after that November date. But you can't do it before then. All right, but the good thing is, as far as like commitments and all of that, and I wanted to kind of state this too with a commitment. Obviously, gone are the days between 8th and 19th graders, and there's still going to be some young kids that are committing. But now, since April of 2023, which is um, where I'm filming this, we are literally weeks away from 2024. So this has been a shift since the springtime when they made the new rules, where essentially schools cannot, well, Division 1 schools cannot talk to athletes until going into August of going into their junior year. So now you have time, and you're not going to see so many of these young kids committing. A commitment is essentially a verbal commitment, right? I'm just kind of blend these two. Is essentially just an agreement that is made between the college. That you they're letting you know that they want your child, and you are accepting that offer that they give, and you are committing to that school. Sometimes there's chess being played with that. A lot of times other schools may still recruit your son. Other times most schools, especially if you do it publicly where you commit to a kid, just you know there's some shady characters in this college baseball business, and coaches. I've dealt with it, but 9 times out of 10, most coaches will not deal with your son if they know that you are committed. So, the tough part is, you got to know when you commit and put it out there on social media or whatever is great, and it's an accomplishment. But just know that decommitting or trying to, a school may come out of nowhere and give you the offer that you want from that school, and then you got to decommit, and then a lot of schools don't like tampering with kids that are committed. So I had a kid the other day, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, with a Division 1 school already offered him, and he had committed since summertime. But another, he was second guessing his decision. What happens, right? It's they're young adults, and sometimes you jump on the first offer, or you jump on something that you think is a great opportunity, and then you start second guessing your decision, especially before signing day. It's kind of like getting cold feet, right? But the other coaches, and there was some interest there, but the other coach told me to say, listen, I will not speak to your athlete until he decommits, right? Which now you're essentially taking a for sure offer off the table to see if maybe if they want, they want him. And that was just too risky. And they obviously liked him a lot, but he it got to the point where it got wind of the other coach was because this unit with this whole college baseball, a lot of these coaches know each other, and you start shopping around, especially on my end, you start shopping around things on the back end, it doesn't look good, okay? And so I won't do that. I might get a feel here and there, but it's not something that I will just publicly blast out there, because again, it looks bad on me and it looks bad on you. Okay, so when you commit, you commit. A verbal commitment, it's just that, it's a verbal commitment. There's nothing signed or anything like that. But 9 times out of 10, most schools will shy away from you. So when you verbally commit, you need to make sure that is your decision and you're okay with that. Okay, it doesn't mean you can't decommit. Yes, you can decommit. Once you sign a national letter of intent, you can, but that it gets messy when that happens. Okay. I've never had that happen when somebody signed a national letter of intent, national letter of intent, and then decommitted and all of that. Now, various factors happen, the reason why they did not sign. Okay, but I mean, they did not end up at that college. But I haven't had it where they signed the national letter of intent and then they decommitted, and for various reasons, another school wanted them or something like that. It was other reasons, grades or something happened where, that the college, because that happens too. That's a whole nother ball game there too. So, um, anyway, national letter of intent, November, April. Okay, you can sign, and that's Division 1, 2, and 3. You can sign. Division 3 is kind of like, as long as you can sign earlier, you can commit and sign the paperwork. As long as you are of your senior year, you are accepted in schools. You got to do that at all the schools too. But Division 3, because there's no athletic scholarships, you can essentially, once you're accepted to the school, you can commit and tell the school that you're doing that because there's no athletic money involved. Okay. Okay. So Division 1 and 2. November, and in April. Okay, but it could be December, January, and you decide on a school. You can sign a national letter of intent. All right, it won't just be the signing day, but you can sign and have a great ceremony and do your own thing. And it won't be a national signing day, but it's still a great accomplishment. Okay, so I hope I explained myself well, right, with the verbal commitments, what they mean. Signing days and all of this. All right. So this is exciting time. Okay. This is what it's all about, is this National Signing Day when you officially make it on paper. Because you can verbally commit, which is just money in the air. It's just a verbal commitment. And just depending on the schools, most schools honor their commitments, but especially now it's different now because of the rules are changing. But there's still a lot of schools, especially the bigger schools, where they have a bunch of commitments on this, and at this time, you hear some horror stories where, and I've dealt with it myself, where some really good players last minute get told that offer has been rescinded, and now they have to look for a new home. So it happens, and I hope it won't happen with you. I'm trying my best to make sure it doesn't. Okay, so we're gonna make the right decision and pick the right school that wants you, and then once they make that commitment towards you and you make that commitment towards them, that partnership is there. We don't have to worry about this. Okay. So anyway, on to the next one.